Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about what I don't like about the Peloton bike. I've made several videos on the Peloton at this point, and I feel like I'm generally very positive about it. Like I really like the instructors, really like the idea, the classes, pretty much everything that's like human driven I like about the Peloton. And what I don't like is mostly technology related issues or logistical issues. So I thought that I would just get on into it and tell you the 6 things that I do not like about the Peloton bike. The first thing I don't like about the Peloton bike, I feel like is probably a pretty common complaint on the West Coast. So Peloton is based in New York City, and I think they also have a studio in London. Since there's no studio in our time zone, basically there's very like poor times to ride from. I think that it's even worse because of Corona and quarantining, but I think it's bad no matter what. Basically, there's no live classes after 3 p.m. in California, which kind of stinks if you're trying to ride after work. And even in the morning, and I think this is because of quarantining, and hopefully it'll get better once the restrictions have loosened a little bit. There's only a live class at 6 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. in California, and I feel like those are two like very drastically different times. I would love if there was a live class at like 7:30 a.m. or 8 a.m. because then I would take it because that's usually around the time I ride, but 6 a.m. is way too early. 9:30 a.m. is way too late, so then I always do on-demand rides, which is not a huge deal, but I would like to take advantage of live classes, and I just feel like I really don't have the opportunity to unless if I plan my whole day around it. The second thing I don't like about the Peloton is definitely more of a technology issue. So basically everybody in this household uses AirPods. You have to use like Bluetooth headphones to connect in. I think you could play it off the speaker, but then everyone would hear your workout. So everybody uses AirPods in this house, and I feel like I struggle connecting my AirPods. Sometimes only one AirPod connects and I have to like put them back in and take them out and try to like get them to reconnect well, and it just takes forever. And then the more annoying thing is during the middle of the ride, I'll be connected with my AirPods and then they'll just randomly connect to somebody else's AirPods. And it's just like, why do you think that we would want that to happen? Like, I'm in the middle of a ride with my AirPods. Why would it connect to somebody else's? And then that's hard because like you lose sound. During a hard workout, I'm like cycling like out of the saddle and I gotta like try to fool around with the settings, like disconnect from the other AirPods and then reconnect to my AirPods. And I feel like sometimes it doesn't happen at all, and then sometimes it happens like 4 times a ride, and then I'm just like, why? Like, how is this not a problem that's already been solved? So that's definitely one of the things that really like bothers me about the Peloton, and I hope that they like fix this in the future. I don't know if that's a hardware or software issue, but it just feels like an issue that like cheapens the product and should be resolved. And it's very frustrating during a ride when you like your sound cuts out. Another thing I don't like about the Peloton is lack of long classes. Right now, basically, they only film 20 to 30-minute classes with the live from home, although it seems like they're coming back into the studio and doing more 45-minute classes, which is good because during this whole quarantine, there was basically no new 45-minute classes. And then even pre-quarantine, basically there's no 60-minute plus classes. Like very, very limited selection. They don't do it normally, even not during quarantine, which kind of stinks. I definitely like riding in hours, so a lot of the times I'll do like a 45-minute ride and a 15-minute ride or 30 and 30, but I would just like the longer ride. Like I find that 45-minute ride and then 15-minute ride, which obviously has a warm up in it because they think that you're just gonna like do this alone, is kind of disruptive, and I just like when I can just do the 60-minute ride that I want to do and be done with it. So I wish that they did longer rides more often, but I am happy that they're getting back into the studio and at least can do 45-minute rides because for a while they were just doing 20 to 30-minute rides, which is just way too short for what I like. Another thing that I don't like about the Peloton is that the calorie estimation is definitely just wrong. Like it's just way off. I know that estimating calories is hard, and I'm sure that everybody like wants to overestimate rather than underestimate so that the consumer feels good, like yeah, I burned a lot of calories. But usually I see on the Peloton for an hour ride, it'll burn like 700 calories and my Apple Watch will say like 500. So there's a very big distinct like difference, and it always happens. It's never like the Apple Watch is more. It's always that the Peloton is way over what the Apple Watch thinks I'm doing. And then I can see this problem more clearly on outdoor runs. I feel like the average person burns 100 calories per mile you run. I think that's like pretty basic knowledge or somewhere around there. And my Apple Watch predicts that about right. Like if I run like 4 to 5 miles, I'm burning like 400 to 500 calories. The Peloton's out here telling me I'll burn like 850 to 900 calories, which just doesn't sound right at all. Like I'm running mostly flat. Like this doesn't make sense. And yeah, I definitely think that this happens on like all across all the different classes they offer. I think the bike's inaccurate. I think everything's inaccurate. And while I brought up my Apple Watch, that's another thing I don't like. Basically, there's no Peloton app that can hook the Apple Watch to the bike as a heart rate monitor. I use like a third-party app that's like a little sketchy, like I have to watch an ad. I have like connection issues sometimes, and it doesn't really make sense because on like outdoor runs and basically any other class that you use the Apple Watch for, there is a Peloton app and it shows your heart rate and it like syncs it to your Peloton data. So I don't understand why they can't like rig something together for the bike so that I don't have to use this like weird third-party app that doesn't work sometimes. Like this app already exists. Why can't Peloton own this app? The next thing that bothers me about the Peloton is poor iPhone app design. I just feel like there's not enough functionality for what I want to do. So, first would be that there's no search function for rides. Like you can filter on like instructor and length and type of music, type of class, which is helpful. But if I'm just talking to Chris, for example, and I'm like, oh, hey, I really like that Lizzo ride, you should check it out. How is he going to find that? Like, I can tell him the instructor, how long it was, but it's not like you could just search Lizzo in the app or on the bike. You just can't do that. So you can be like, oh, you can like look at my history and find the ride, but basically there's just no good way to search for things that you want to find. And it feels like this should be like a very common feature that would be requested and easy to do. So I don't know why they don't have search, but it definitely makes it harder to find like specific rides rather than just looking for something random. And I feel like maybe now that Peloton's really picking up and like they're getting a lot of new rides a day, maybe they will add that search functionality now that they have a really large corpus of rides. But yeah, it definitely is annoying to not be able to find what you're looking for because you're just trying to like manipulate all of these different filters, but you can't search. And then the other thing that annoys me is basically when you look at your workouts, it breaks down how many workouts you have of each type. So, like biking, outdoor running, stretching, cardio, any possible like workout type class they have, they break it down. So, I can see that I've done like 4 runs, for example. But then when you click on any of them, or just like the entire box, it just brings you to all of your workouts together listed in chronological order, which isn't that annoying when I'm on the bike because I cycle so much. So usually I want to compare like, oh, what did I do yesterday? What did I do the day before? Like, am I improving? I just like to look at all this data and compare it basically. But with runs, I only run like once or twice a week. But as soon as I'm done with my run, the first thing I want to do is look at the previous run, see if I improved, if I got worse. Like, I just like looking at the data and comparing the two. But I have to like scroll through like 20 different cycling, like stretching, like all of this to just find my last run. And I feel like you should be able to look at all of your workouts and filter on like class type so that you can easily compare the classes that are similar. But yeah, maybe that would also come in a future update. I feel like that'd be an easy feature to give us. And then finally, this seems very small, but basically there's challenges on the app that you can join, and a lot of them are kind of just like you got on the bike achievement. So like you get an award if you work out 5 days in a month, 10 days in a month, 15 days in a month. And then they kind of rotate other challenges. I think in May, if you rode 50 miles, you got bronze, 100, you got silver, and 150, you got gold. But my problem is that like I'm way over those metrics, and I feel like a lot of people are because I'm definitely not like the top 1% of Peloton users, right? Like I estimate I'm probably like top like 30%. Like I do try to ride almost every day, but I'm definitely not as strong as other people. Basically, I'm saying they need more challenges and harder challenges. Like, I'd love to see, oh, you get an award every 50 miles more you do a month, or you did 10 rides by one instructor. Like, I feel like it's silly, but I like doing the challenges and I find that it motivates me, even though they're meaningless. I just think it's a fun thing to like meet and do. So I wish that they had more. They only have like 2 a month. You got on the bike and did a workout, or like you did any sort of Peloton workout. This one this month is more focused on tread or like running outside. So it's like bronze if you run 10 miles, silver if you run 25, gold if you run 40. And then there's like no bike challenges at all this month. So I wish that there was just like better challenges. I think it would be more motivating. I definitely think that none of the things I brought up today were deal breakers. I still really love the Peloton and I'll definitely still use it. Like these are not things that would dissuade me from using them, but I do think that there are things that Peloton could improve. It's mostly just logistical and technological things. Like I really don't have problems. I love all the instructors, love the classes. I just wish that they'd make the app a little better and they'd offer more classes and longer classes. And obviously, not everyone can be happy. I think Peloton's doing a great job, especially considering how many new users they probably have. And I've never felt like there's been like stability issues. Like I can always connect to classes, even though I'm sure they're seeing like a huge spike in users. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you found it informative. I hope if you're on the fence about the Peloton, you got some use out of my complaining. I enjoy complaining, so this was fun. I hope you guys are having an awesome week and staying safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!